Leela's story of love and sacrifice. My name is Leela. I am 29 years old. I live in a small town tucked between rolling hills and a winding river. My story isn't grand or flashy, but it's woven with love, heartbreak, and the quiet strength of sacrifice. I grew up in a modest wooden house with my parents and my younger sister, Sophie. My father was a mechanic at the local garage, always coming home with grease-stained hands and a tired smile. My mother worked part-time at the town library, surrounded by books she loved to share with us. We didn't have much, our furniture was worn, our meals simple, but our home was filled with warmth. As a child, I dreamed of becoming a pediatrician, inspired by the idea of healing kids and seeing their faces light up with hope. I studied hard, my nose buried in biology books, and my parents beamed with pride. Leela's going to change the world, they'd say, half joking, half believing. Chasing dreams in the city. At 18, I earned a scholarship to a prestigious university in the city, hours away from home. It was a bittersweet moment, excitement mixed with fear of leaving my family. My mother hugged me tightly, whispering, "You're destined for big things, Leela, be brave." My father slipped a small compass necklace into my hand, saying, "So you always find your way." I packed my essentials, clothes, notebooks, and my dreams, and boarded the train, their tearful waves fading as the station disappeared. City life was a whirlwind. The streets buzzed with noise, lights, and endless motion. I lived in a cramped dorm room with peeling paint, but I didn't mind. I was there to chase my future. In my second year, I met Ethan in the university's study lounge. I was struggling to reach a medical journal on a high shelf when he stepped in, tall and lanky with messy blonde hair and a shy grin. "Need a hand?" he asked, passing me the book. We got to talking, and soon our chance meeting turned into regular study sessions, then coffee runs, then long chats in the campus garden. Ethan was gentle, thoughtful, with a quiet humor that made me laugh. He was studying environmental science, passionate about saving forests and rivers. We bonded over small things, shared sandwiches, late-night debates, stargazing on the quad. I never said "I love you," but I felt it, deep and unspoken. I thought he did too. A growing connection. He'd bring me tea when I pulled all-nighters, and I'd lend him my jacket when the evenings turned chilly. We talked about our futures, his dream to restore his hometown's river, mine to work in a children's hospital. I imagined a life with him, though I never dared say it aloud. In our final year, Ethan grew serious one afternoon. "Leela, after graduation, I'm going back home. My mom's alone, and the community needs help with the conservation project." My heart sank, but I forced a smile. "That's wonderful. They're lucky to have you." Inside, I ached, knowing our paths were diverging. We never spoke of staying together, but we clung to our remaining time, walking hand in hand through parks, sharing ice cream under city lights, pretending the end wasn't near. A heart-wrenching choice. After graduation, I landed an offer from a renowned children's hospital in the city. It was everything I'd worked for: modern facilities, a chance to specialize in pediatrics, a salary that could change my life. I called my mother, voice trembling with excitement, but her tone was heavy. "Leela, your father's not well. His heart, it's getting worse. Sophie's struggling too, she's been skipping school. We could use you here." The words hit like a wave. I stared at the offer letter, my textbooks, the photo of my family on my desk. My dreams clashed with duty. The next day I packed my bags and returned home. The town hadn't changed. Same dusty roads, same corner store, same familiar faces, but my father looked frail, his hands unsteady. My mother's eyes carried new worry lines. Sophie was withdrawn, her grades slipping. I took a job at the local health clinic, a far cry from the hospital of my dreams. It was a small, underfunded place, but I threw myself into it, treating colds, bandaging scrapes, comforting anxious patients. My days were long, my nights spent helping at home. Ethan and I stayed in touch through texts, but they grew sparse. He was busy with his river project. I was buried in family and work. A painful revelation. One evening Ethan called. "Leela, I wanted to share something." His voice was soft, hesitant. "My family arranged a marriage for me. Her name's Clara. The wedding's next month." My breath caught. I gripped the phone, forcing calm. "That's great, Ethan. I'm happy for you." He paused. "She's kind. I think it'll be okay." I managed. "You deserve the best." After we hung up, I sat on my bed, tears streaming. He didn't know I'd turned down the hospital job. He didn't know I'd come home for my family. He didn't know I'd loved him, dreamed of a future together. I'd never told him, and now I never would. Time moved on, heavy with routine. My father's health stabilized, but he needed constant care. I cooked his meals, monitored his meds. Sophie needed guidance, so I tutored her after work. The clinic kept me busy. Patients with fevers, injuries, or just loneliness. I gave them my all, even when my own heart felt empty. One night my mother sat me down. "Leela, you've given up so much, your career, your city life. I feel guilty." I took her hand. "This is where I'm needed. It's my choice." But deep down it was more than choice. It was love, the kind that asks you to put others first. Carrying the weight. Some nights I'd stare out my window at the starry sky, thinking of Ethan. I pictured a life we might have had, a cozy apartment, morning coffee, his laughter filling the air. The ache lingered, but I stopped crying. I carried both the pain and the strength of my choices. Life settled into a rhythm. Mornings at the clinic, afternoons cooking or cleaning, evenings with Sophie's homework. The work was repetitive, but I found purpose in it. One day I ran into Ethan at the town's market. He was buying bread, his hair shorter, his face a little weathered. He smiled when he saw me and my heart twinged. "Leela, didn't know you were back," I nodded. "Been here since graduation, working at the clinic." His brow furrowed. "What about the hospital job?" I shrugged. "Family needed me more." He looked at me, eyes soft. "You've always been selfless." We chatted briefly. He was married now, working with his mom, content. I said goodbye, my voice steady, but inside I felt the old wound reopen. He walked away and I let him go. Facing the loss. My mother noticed my quietness that evening. Over tea she said, "Leela, you seem distant. Are you okay?" I hesitated, then admitted, "I saw someone from college today. It brought back memories." She reached for my hand. "You gave up your dreams for us. I wish I could give them back." I shook my head. "I don't regret it, you dad." "Sophie, you're my world." She teared up. "We just want you to find happiness too." Months passed. My father's health held steady, but he moved slower. Sophie started improving, her confidence growing. One evening my father pulled me aside. "Leela, you're our rock. You gave up everything, your job, maybe even love. That's a heavy load." I smiled faintly. "It's what family does." He hugged me, whispering, "You're stronger than you know." A new opportunity. Then a letter arrived from the city hospital. They had an opening for a pediatric nurse, a chance to reclaim my dream. My hands trembled as I read it. I showed it to my parents. My father's eyes lit up. "Leela, this is your moment. Go." My mother nodded. "Sophie's stronger now. We'll manage." I wavered, torn between duty and desire. That night I sat with the letter, my old college photo, and a faded note Ethan had once written me. "You're unstoppable, Leela." I kept it in a box, a reminder of a life I'd imagined. I loved him still, quietly, but he was gone, a life I'd let slip away. The next morning I made a choice. I wrote back to the hospital, declining the offer. My place was here with my family, my town. I felt a pang of loss, but also peace. I wasn't a pediatrician in a gleaming hospital. I was Ethan's wife. But I was Leela, nurse, daughter, sister, giver of care. Finding purpose. The clinic became my anchor. I knew every patient's story, their ailments, their fears. They brought me apples, homemade jam, gratitude in their eyes. I gave them medicine, listened to their worries, offered hope. Sophie finished high school with honors, her smile brighter. She hugged me one day, saying, "You made me believe in myself." My father, weaker but stubborn, started helping at the garage again, insisting he wasn't done yet. One quiet evening I got a call from Sophie. She'd been accepted into a nursing program in a nearby city, a 6-month course. "I want to be like you, Leela," she said. Pride swelled in me. "You'll be better," I replied. When she left, the house felt emptier, but I wasn't alone. I had purpose. A new beginning. Then a flyer at the clinic caught my eye, a free training program for rural nurses in the capital aimed at enhancing community care. I hesitated, remembering my last chance, but something stirred, a flicker of ambition. I applied, and weeks later I was accepted. I told my parents, expecting resistance, but they smiled. "Go learn, Leela," my father said. "You've given enough, take this for you." The capital was overwhelming, but I dove in. The training was intense, new techniques, community health strategies. I was the oldest in the group, surrounded by eager 20-somethings, but I kept up. My instructor noticed my focus. "You have a gift for connecting with people, Leela. That's rare." I graduated top of the class, returning home with a certificate and renewed fire. Building a legacy. Back in town, I expanded the clinic's outreach. I started a weekly health workshop for families, teaching first aid, nutrition, mental health. The room filled with familiar faces, farmers, shopkeepers, kids. They called me Nurse Leela, some jokingly adding doctor. I laughed it off but felt a quiet pride. I wasn't a doctor, but I was making a difference. Sophie returned, a certified aide, and joined me at the clinic. We worked side by side, her energy lifting mine. One day a letter arrived from the city hospital, not a job offer but praise for my workshops. "Your work is inspiring rural care," it read. I held it, tears brimming, and thought of my journey. Reflecting on love and loss. I'd given up the hospital, the city, a life with Ethan. He never knew the dreams I shelved, the love I held silent, but I knew I'd chosen my family, my town, my heart's calling. Ethan was a cherished memory, a soft, warm chapter I'd carry forever. But my story wasn't his. It was mine, built on sacrifice, stitched with love and grounded in purpose. Thank you for hearing my story. If it touched you, share yours below. Subscribe for more real journeys.